Okay, we just had new levels come out today, and I'm going to start the first level and show you how we go about making our full layout picks for our guides and what information we need for our guides. This is for level 426. Of course, we always send all our lives. The first thing we need to do is find out how many stars we get, or how many points we need for each star. I'm working at the same time I'm making this video, so I'm writing all of this down. We have 70,000, and it's written just like that with a space and no comma in your worksheet. 87,000, and we have 115,000. We make these videos for no charm users. Precision is fine. You know, we always recommend the charm of precision. I can never say that word. But you know, you may find you need a charm here or there as you're playing just to get through quickly if you know that it can be done without using a charm in a different situation. Anyways, we'll get to that later. Here are all the potions. I happen to have all of them up, but we don't necessarily need all of them. But in our statistics, which are included in the worksheet and in all of our guides, we write in the points for stars, we write in the starting bubbles, we write in what magic potions we used, and what charm we recommend. We always recommend the precision. Sometimes you don't need the precision, but we never write any other recommended charm. I'll explain that in another video as far as what we do. Usually we do start out with a rainbow and 3 holes, unless there is a bomb in the ceiling. Sometimes I even add the golden spiders because it's a short game and you need to get extra points. Anyways, any questions you have along the way, just ask me. Let's get into this part first, because this is the part that I always tend to forget, and that is your starting bubbles. Oh shit, it's all across the dark blue sky too. For starting bubbles, look down here in your cauldron. This cauldron says 55. I have 5 permanent bubbles in my cauldron. 3 extra bubbles were automatically added. That's 8. And I believe the 7 extra potion bubble was also there, which is 12, which would give me 50. And we subtract all the added bubbles from that. That would give me 53 starting bubbles. I am going to recheck that as I go back and play again, because we usually don't have an odd number like that, 53. I'm questioning if it just isn't, even if I do minus 5, even if I do 8, and I'm not doing this right. 8 and 7 is 15. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do math and all of this at the same time. So 50, we have 50, 40. We have 40 starting bubbles. Okay, I'm really sorry about that. I went ahead and stopped the video just to calculate, and we do indeed have 40 starting bubbles. I had the 3 extra bubbles added. I had 7 extra bubbles potion added, which is 12 in my I'm sorry, never mind, we have 40 starting bubbles. We'll go back to that later. I cannot do this at the same time. The first thing I want you to note is your line of vision. That's where you see up to the point when your game opens. You need to make a note of that somehow. Right here, let's see, we have crystals. So it is 3 rows above crystal. I write notes the whole time I do my guides and my levels. I write everything down. And I do that because it's easier for me when I go back to actually write up my guide. And sometimes our guides get lost or misplaced or deleted, and then we have no record of the guide. I recommend you pull this up to the top, because sometimes we have an exceptionally long layout that will go below into these cauldrons. And get these people out of here. Hit your scrolling charm when you see the ceiling, print screen. These videos are made using the Paint program. If you do not have Paint and use Snippet or other programs, a couple of those are listed in the doc. Click on Paste, click on Save, which is this little corner floppy disk thing, and I title it. I always make sure the guide's in there, and because I get so many pictures from other people, I always put my name on it so I know who goes to what. And it makes it easier for me to put into an album or publish or whatever. So this is level 226. We always put in a JPEG format. That's down here. Save as type. Click on that arrow. This is JPEG. Save. There you go. The first thing we're going to do is write in our line of vision. It was 3 bubbles above the crystal. I most always use white. On occasion I'll use yellow, but I almost always use white. We do try to stay consistent with what we use here. So that is 1, 2, 3. That goes up here. I go ahead and extend it all the way across from one end to the other. Remember that the top of these bubbles will not be seen when you open the screen, and I can show you that to verify it. I also draw this line far out to the sides because I am going to be cropping this picture. And this line is straight. And if you don't draw straight lines when Petra looks at them, she's going to get on your case. And I'm going to tell you what, if I look at them, I'll get on your case too. Now if you want to double check, you don't just minimize this, because your game doesn't go away. You haven't closed out your game. Just to double check where your line is drawn. Right up here. That aqua one, let's see. Where did I draw it? Right above that aqua one. This is great. I can stop right here, go on and play my game and come back and finish. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put you on pause and I'll be back as soon as I can. By the way, one extra thing. When you're making a guide, a level guide for the group, you need to have passed your level with a minimum of 2 stars, or 3 preferably, but you have to have 2 stars. If you don't pass the level with 2 stars, you have to play it over again. The nice thing too I like about this is I can go through here, my picture, and I can actually kind of figure out my strategy ahead of time. But I'm not going to do that because I'm on a time frame here. So I'll get back to you just in a minute. Okay, now that I've finished my game with 3 stars the first time through, I might add, I'll show you what we do. I did forget to mention in the beginning, one of the other things we put in our statistics is what we call our special bubbles, our obstacles. Here we have infection, morphs, and mystery bubbles. And there's some, I believe, were there not some crystals? Yes, there's crystals as well. Sometimes they show up better than others. Sometimes they flash, sometimes they don't. We don't always mark crystals. We don't always mark the obvious either, like the mystery bubbles and the dunes and the spiders. We don't always mark those, but there are occasions that we do. We do, however, always mark the infection and the bombs and the shadows. And when we can, usually the morphs. And I'll show you how we do that as well. We do have colors for each obstacle that is written in the doc above these videos, and you can refer to those when needed. We like to keep our layouts as clean looking and as uncluttered as possible. Sometimes that's not always easy, but we do that. In this particular instance, I will be marking the infection, which is yellow. There is a color for each and every obstacle that we use, and we try to remain consistent. In this particular case, I'll draw a circle because I just have one. Okay, one infection. I'm not going to mark the mysteries because everybody knows what a mystery is. We use a lilac or lavender, one of the lilac or purple colors for the morphs. It's not that we have them that often, and I use whichever color shows up the best. I tend to go with the lilac. Now, over here in paint, because I have paint, you have all of your different shapes, and what I'm going to try and do is draw a big round circle around these morphs, because that's basically, they're in a circular pattern. If they were in a diagonal pattern, then I would draw a diagonal line. You have to have this line on to make lines. This is for your circles, rectangles, whatever shapes it is that you're using. And we'll go over here. I know this is a quick video. I apologize. I find it easier than making a longer, more complex one, and that's why I say, if you have questions about what we're doing, this is just an example, ask me, because you're going to come in contact with a lot of different types of layouts. Now you will notice that this, boy, it's going to be really hard. It's going to be hard for me to crop this layout. I could, but see, the actual bottom of the picture is there. One of the things I could do in this particular instance, I can get the whole layout in one picture, showing all of the layout, but I would like to show a little bit more. So I will go up here and I'll click on resize. We don't have to do this with all of our pictures. Go into pixels. Everything we do is in pixels, and where you see this 3, I'm going to change that to a 2. So I've decreased the size by 100 pixels. See how much difference that makes? It's still the right size for my diagrams, and I can still see the whole picture, and then I can crop. Whether you crop first or your diagrams first, that's entirely up to you. When you do crop, put here, if this isn't already on select, click on select so that it's orange. It's already on, it'll already be in the crop mode. When you crop your picture, make sure you leave part of whatever the pole, rope, tree, or whatever is there showing. But bypass these bubbles on the sides and the charms on the other side. But you want to leave enough there so that the people that use no charms and do all of their banking off the sides have a place to make their point. Have a place to mark where they're going to bank off from. So there's our picture. We need to label it. We also usually use yellow or white, depending on the background. Sometimes it shows up well, sometimes it doesn't, and you just have to search whatever looks best. You usually write it down here, but when it's all full of bubbles, sometimes you write up here. However, since all my obstacles are at the top, I have none at the bottom, I'm going to write my level in down here. This A is for text. I'll click down here and a box will appear. Here is the font. This is the type that we use, the Arial. It can be changed, the font family it's called here. And this is the size of the text, the font size. We use 48, sometimes a smaller font in 36, but usually 48 is the standard. And I will write in here, this is how we label this, level 426 is the level I just did. So it's been cropped, it has my line of vision, the obstacles, the mandatory infection obstacle is marked in yellow. The morphs are marked because they're easier to see in the lilac. I have no other obstacles below. The level that I'm making is written on the photo. So that's all done. I just have to go up and click on resize, click on pixels, and this is changed to 500. The size of the pictures that we make are 500 pixels wide. Click OK, then click Save. If you forget to click Save, when you go to close out, it will ask you if you want to save it, and then you'll remember. And that's all there is to making the scrolling picture, the scrolling layout picture for a level guide, and what we need to include in our statistics. I'll follow up with another video for what we do next. Good luck. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask and practice as much as you like.